These are some of the most forgotten things inside of ERLC. Let me know in the comments how much you actually use these features, and drop a like and subscribe if you enjoy. And we're going to start off with the fire team. So there's actually a few things on the fire department team that I want to speak about, but specifically we're going to be speaking about the hazmat game pass. And the reason we're going to be talking about this is because nobody really uses it. For starters, this is the only vehicle you get by purchasing that game pass, and it is painful to drive. It is so slow. Literally any vehicle in the game is faster than this, except from the dump truck at the construction site, I'm pretty sure. It's ridiculously slow, I'll tell you that. But as well as that, it doesn't actually have a use. It is literally pretty useless. It's simply for roleplay access. If we have a look at what you get in it, you get like the water pump, the wash station, the safety rope, the life ring, maybe the hydraulic strut as well, I think. And then obviously the different uniforms, which, to be honest, I will say the uniforms do look really cool. They're very well made, but everything in my inventory right now, hydraulic strut, absolutely useless. No one ever uses this. If we just have a look, it is really cool how it works. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that you can connect it to any surface, but nobody really uses it because it's useless. It has no purpose. Same with the life ring as well. This is also kind of my second point. All of the water rescue equipment. Now, hopefully, in future updates, we might get some kind of boat update and other things like that to make it a bit more useful. But things like this, the life ring for starters, it doesn't really work properly. Like, what are you doing? That is not what you should be doing. You're meant to be saving lives, not dancing in the river. So yeah, it's a little bit glitchy as well. To be honest, I'll say probably the only useful thing here is the safety rope. I do really like the safety rope. I think it works great. But things like the wash station, and we also have the big tent as well, just seems useless to me. Like, what are you going to use this for? The only purpose you would use it is for very specific role plays. But even so, how often does a role play where you need a shower happen inside of ERLC? Not very much. Is it worth paying the like 300 400 Robux it is for this game pass? No, that's why it's a forgotten feature, because hardly anyone uses it. And for the next one, we're going to be heading on to the DOT team, and there's one specific, this hat looks really weird, there's one specific item I'm going to be talking about on here, and it's the gas can. It is pretty useless. To be honest, I'm trying to remember if there's a call where you can go and refill a car when it's run out of gas, similar to how there's the flat tire calls, but don't think there is. Correct me if I'm wrong, but other than that, even so, how many times does this get used? There are countless times where people run out of fuel inside of ERLC. I'm sure it's happened to me loads, or maybe that's just because I never refuel my vehicles. But even so, when you do run out of fuel, it would take so long to call the DOT, tell them you need fuel, then for them to come and find you to refill your vehicle. You could have just reset and respawned your car. And even in a roleplay server, I don't think people are going to wait about just to get that gas can to refill their car to drive to the gas station, when you can respawn your car and have the same amount of gas you'd get from a gas can instantly. So yeah, extremely useless. And there are a few other things on here as well. Oil absorbent, this is only really useful for the major server callout, I think, or the oil spill. I'm not sure if it's a major server callout. Again, pretty useless. But to be honest, the rest of the stuff on here I do see used quite a lot. They all do have a good use. I do think the DOT team is one of the more underrated teams inside of ERLC. Don't think it gets used enough. Now for the next thing, we are going to be joining on to the police team this time, and once again it is another tool that I find pretty useless. And there's two tools on here actually. It is these two right here. First of all, the radar gun. No one really uses it because you can't use it in a vehicle, so you have to stand outside, stand on the side of the road, watch people speed, hover over them as they go past, and then see their speed, or you can go first person and see their speed as well, which, I'll be honest, is pretty cool. If they are speeding, let's say to pull them over, they'd probably need to be doing like 60 or something for you to really go out of your way and stop them. If they're doing 60 miles an hour, by the time you've seen them speeding go past, they're going at 60 miles an hour. They're going to be all the way down there by the time you've got in your car, and then you have to accelerate all the way up. By the time you catch up to them, they're going to be gone, which makes it kind of useless. We also have the surveillance drone, but then again, similar to the special operations game pass, it is useful only for specific roleplay. Same with the civilian drone as well, but to be honest, I do think the drones are cool. When they do get used, I think they are really good. It's just a shame they don't get used all that much. And we 100% need a drone on the fire department team, just saying. Now I know I said the radar gun is useless, but some of these trailers are also useless. Of course, the equipment trailer literally doesn't have a use. It's made to be just a roleplay feature, a bit of decoration, as are all of these features really. Same with the floodlight trailer. The mobile surveillance trailer is actually probably one of my favorite trailers in the game. I think it's really cool that you can actually set up a mobile surveillance camera wherever you want. However, even though the radar gun is useless, this right here is actually not useless. I really like this one here, because what you can do is you can sit in your car next to it all the way down here. You can have your camera zoomed out and just watch this, and as soon as someone flies past it above the speed limit, you can just go chase after them straight away. You're already in your car, you don't have to mess about anymore. You can just go and leave your trailer there. And if you want to be roleplay and realistic, it will also deter people to slow down if they see this sign anyway. Whereas you stood on the road with your radar gun, no one's really going to see it. Side note, by the way, I did once see two people. One of them had the speed trailer, one of them had the mobile surveillance trailer. The mobile surveillance trailer was right behind the speed trailer, and they were just sat there on their MDT, it was in a roleplay server, on their MDT, looking at the mobile surveillance camera, watching the speed show up on here, and then taking a screenshot of the number plate of the car that was speeding as they drove past, and then just put the number plate on the radio for officers to go and give them a speeding ticket. I think that's a really creative way of role-playing, I'm not gonna lie. And speaking of the mobile surveillance trailer, we also have the traffic cameras. They are really useless because they're so hard to find which one you want. Like if you're sat here, let's say, let's say the officer calls up and say, hey, can you get a camera on the parking lot? Just an example, you're gonna have to scroll through all these cameras, which they're kind of laggy to scroll through as well. You're gonna have to keep going. This is kind of a useless angle for the parking lot. You're gonna have to keep going, there we go, until you find the parking lot camera. And if you're monitoring a pursuit, they're not in order either. So if there's a pursuit going this way and it's just by the park now, and you want to find the park, you're gonna have to go like, oh, hang on, let me find the park, let me keep going, not this one, not this one, not this one. Oh, there's no cameras there, sorry, I've lost your pursuit. Here we are, we're finally there. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a bit useless. And again, if you are in a pursuit, we do have body cams you can watch, which obviously this is my own body cam, and you can view vehicle dash cams through that as well, which is pretty cool. But again, they're not really used that much. And for the final two, we're going to be going on the civilian team. This wasn't actually on my list, but I just randomly spawned in this car, and you know what? This car is never really used either, but it is really fast. I just think it's extremely ugly. The next one we're going to be talking about is the hospital, and the hospital beds specifically. For starters, no one really uses the roleplay jobs in here, and roleplay jobs in general. I guess that's a little bonus one for you, but the hospital beds, if you're injured, you can sit in these beds and it will heal you much quicker than if you were to just stand up. However, the whole of the hospital interior doesn't really get used, partly because I think it's kind of outdated, kind of looks a bit trash, a bit boring. But yeah, no one really uses anything in here, that is for sure. And the final thing I want to talk about in this video is the underground bunker. It is not really used anymore. It used to be used a lot more, but now in ERLC there's a lot more places to hide. Is it even over here? Yeah, it is here. This used to be used a lot, however now people use the actual criminal base instead. This kind of used to be a criminal base, but people use the actual criminal base in High Rock Park now a lot more than they use this. This doesn't really get used anymore, although it is kind of very hidden. It is actually hard to notice, and if you've never actually known about this, then you're probably never gonna just randomly come across it, because it's really well hidden behind this little bush here. So yeah, a forgotten place, no one really comes here anymore, but yeah, this is definitely the OG hideout for all the OG ERLC players. This should get an update one day, like a bit of a different interior to it. That would be cool. And obviously this has moved location a few times as well in the last few years. But that is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how many of these features you actually use, and if there's anything I missed off this list that you think is completely useless, let me know in the comments. But thank you very much for watching this video. Drop a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. Check out everything else from the description, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.